Hello guys, and welcome back to the Stacey West YouTube channel. I am Ben, and of course we play Fleetwood on Saturday, which means there's only one person we can really talk to, isn't it? I'm joined by Knappers. How you doing, mate?
Very good, Ben. Thank you. Excited to come down. Always like my trips to Lincoln. You know, good football club, good city. You know, good people as well, good supporters. And you know, every time I've come down, although we've not had the right results, you know, kind of when I have come down, a couple of defeats and a 2-2 draw last time. I'm hoping. I think it's my fourth visit. I'm hoping it's fourth time lucky. But no, looking forward to it, and glad to be back on the channel. Thank you for having me.
No worries, mate. Thank you. Yeah, so let's get straight into it. Obviously, Fleetwood, you've had a sticky run, shall we say, for a little while. Yeah. No wins in 12 in the league, but a managerial change at the end of December, and all of a sudden, something's clicked, something's changed, and you've got 2 wins on the bounce. So, what's necessarily been the catalyst for that change? And how are you guys playing at the moment?
I think the key is getting rid of players on big money that don't want to be at the football club. Your Josh Vellers, your Jack Marriott, are 2 of which. I'm not going to put Josh Hill in that situation because I think it's harsh that he gave everything that he had, showed quality, showed leadership till the day that he left, and got a good move for him. And he is one that deserves the move. He's gone to Barnsley, 3.5-year deal, good football club, good contract for him and his family. And I wish him well. For Josh Vella and Jack Marriott, you don't want to see them do back. Well, Vella more slightly so because they're the only team below us in the division. I'm in Cheltenham, and you don't want them to overtake you. And Jack did, all right for us at times, but we've got rid of players that maybe were a bit unhappy in the camp, causing a bit of the riot, a bit of the unhappy noise in the dressing room, and we replace them with young, hungry players, maybe not as expensive or as experienced or as on paper as good, but we've replaced them with hungry players that want to fight for each other. We've changed our captain to Brendan Wirrady, which has been an inspired decision. Boston Llewell's gone into midfield. He's been a revelation there the last 2 or 3 games as well. So it's little tweaks as well. It's a young team again. It's a hungry team again, and they're fighting for each other. And when you've got that fight, a couple of months ago, I was saying that we're a good team with no fight. Now I think we're a kind of an average side with a lot of fight, and I'd rather have that every day of the week. And we're now coming into a period where we think if we can go and double our points, look, it's 16 games. We've had 30 games already. It's going to be tough. But I think we were, if you look at the odds for us to go down this time a week ago, I think we've more than halved that possibility I've seen in the division. And 2 really good results, 2 clean sheets, which are massive as well, because we'd leaked 50 goals in 28 games, which is it's a lot of goals, isn't it? Let's be honest, it's nearly 2 a game.
Yeah, no, 100%, and I think that's been one of the things. Looking at it from from another club's fan side. You look at it and go, Fleetwood, what went wrong at the start of the season? Because like you say, you look at the lineup, you look at the squad that you had going into the season. You had the likes of Jack Marriott, you had Jaden Stockley. You've got players there that cards on the table. Completely honestly, it's like you're obviously spending big money on those players, and it's like, well, you'd expect to be higher up the table than where you are, but obviously something went wrong. You're down near the bottom now, and it seems like you might slowly be clawing your way out of the basement, I guess. But let's look at Charlie Adam, because he came in December after Lee Johnson had his short reign with the club. Yeah. Hey, there we go. How's Charlie taken to life at Fleetwood? Is he endearing himself to the fans? Has he made massive changes, big, sweeping changes across the board, or is it just little things that he's tweaking here and there?
I don't think he's got the power to change things. I think it's kind of been, well, these players are going, and these are what you can bring in, and you can pick the loanies that you potentially bring in. He's very man management style, like arm around the shoulder. Let's go for a game of golf. Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a run. Let's go, do this. Let's have a lap of the pitch. Let's have a chat about, what I think we need to do with you. And it's old school, and that's what we need in this situation. And I watched the players come off the bus a couple of times Derby away, he put a video up and they looked awful. Northampton, the next game, we got there and the bus came in 5 minutes later. So I purposely went over to have a look. They were all so deflated and they looked awful. The demeanour was terrible. Lost before the game. Like it was a cert. They're now looking happy, bouncing, fighting each other, hugging each other. The fist pumps at the end. You know, I saw them in the services the other day and they're laughing and joking with each other coming off the bus. Winning games of football will help that. But you feel like even when we were losing against Derby, against Shrewsbury, against Cambridge, against Portsmouth, there was still a bit of fight there for each other. And you could see that they wanted to play for each other. So a bit of fight, a bit of grit. Charlie knew the football club before coming in because he's local. He's got good mates at the football club. He knows Andy, obviously the previous owner, shall I say. You know, Will, you know, who will what at the football club that has been in and around it for nearly a decade now. And knows Will, knows Steve Kerwood. His son's in the academy. He's been to Poole for hundreds of times, some radio commentary on Fleetwood, you know, and he's at pretty much every home game before. So he knew the football club, and he said that he wants a team that represents the town, that fights for the town, and that's working class. That is, you know, real fight, real grit. And we might not have the best of quality, but we'll fight. We'll keep going till the end. We'll keep looking for a hunger, and that's what we've got. And it's just that I think he gets the town a bit more than Brown or Lee Johnson certainly ever did.
Yeah, and you know, I think you said earlier you'd rather have an average team with a lot of fight than a good team with no, you know, no grit. And I think we've seen that in the past, particularly, you know, at Lincoln, going way back to Keith Alexander's era. You know, we were an average side, but with such team spirit, and we managed to get to the playoffs several years on the bounce. You know, that was kind of where we were at that stage. And I think that's very important. So, yeah, it's a really good point you pick up on there. Let's look at deadline day quickly, because we did a live stream for deadline day. And it seemed to me like every 2 minutes, because I was filling out the transfers behind the scenes on StreamYard, it seemed like every 2 or 3 minutes there was another one coming through for Fleetwood. You know, somebody sign on loan, sign on loan, sign on. How many loans was it that came in the end? Was it 4 or 5 on loan and 1 permanent?
It was 3 on loan, 2 permanent. So
there we
3 was Campbell, there was Samuels, and there was Kilkenny, and the 2 permanents were Potter and that's not Brian Potter, by the way. Potter coming on loan, and Lonergan as well. So they were the permanents. So, but we got rid of 5 on deadline day as well. Shamanga went back. Marriott left the building. Josh Earl left the building. These were already done, but it kind of panned out the whole day. It was a very chaotic day.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. But I mean, have you had much of a chance to see any of the new signings in action yet? I'm not sure how quickly they'd have shot into the first team, or whether they're on the bench with maybe a bit of squad depth. How have they looked so far?
Campbell's come in centre half, looks a little bit shaky. But first couple of games in a new team, you know, first ever experience it, you know, out on loan. So, you know, I can see that, you know, in a struggling team. Kilkenny played the other night, got an assist for Stock, who's up front. Jaden Stockley looked, you know, mustard in that midfield. He had a short loan spell at Charlton, paid by injuries and couldn't get into the team under Dean Holden. Then Potter, we've not really seen. Lonergan, we've not really seen. And Samuels was on the bench, they didn't quite feature. So, but again, they've come in and the side won, and it's hard to change. And for the first time in a long while, I'm having selection edit, trying to think of how can we fit this player back in. Obviously, you know, Boys got injured away at Wickham. It'd be hard for him to come back in, although he looked must in the 1.5, 2 games that he did play for the football club. But no, it's a good place to be in, and we've just got to keep winning games of football at this rate. And I'm now gone from the position of we're done, we're down, to now thinking if we can just get a point here, if we can just get 3 here, and it is the hope that kills you. It really is. It's nice to have a step, though. It really is. Have an extra spring in your step.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's, you know, we've been in that position where we're thinking, looking at the trapdoor and getting a bit jittery, and then all of a sudden you get 2 wins on the bounce, and you think, not too bad. You mentioned Harry Boys there. Obviously, you know, was at Lincoln last season. How's he been for you guys so far? Is he impressed, or?
Yeah, the 2. I think he played 2 games. He came in at Cambridge and played against Portsmouth. Got injured halfway through the first half at Wickham. So
Right.
played say 2 1/4, 2 1/3 games, and in the first 2 games looked our best player by
Right.
some
Okay.
distance. Looked great going forward. Defensively, obviously, I know he's a wing back.
Hmm.
And the way we're going to play is that way. Look really good. Good eye for a cross, and you even have the occasional shot as well. Good left foot, and he seemed to really had a bit of experience. And he's had a lot of loan spells at this division. He's had a loan spell with Forest Green, Lincoln, Fleetwood, Wickham, 4 League One clubs at the time that he went on loan there. And he just needs a home, and hopefully, Fleetwood can give it to him. He is back on the grass. I don't think he'll quite be ready for Saturday, but I think that maybe potentially back on the bench from Tuesday onwards and potentially back in the team. And at the moment, obviously, we'll probably speak about it later. Our weak point are our fullbacks, because we've got a winger there and a right and a centre mid in Ryan Broom that can play right wing back. So him coming back will only strengthen our position, in my opinion.
Okay, cool. I mean, yeah, he struggled to get into the team a little bit with us, but he played against Sheffield Wednesday and he played out of his skin. I think that was the away game, and he was absolutely phenomenal. And then, yeah, kind of drifted in and out of the squad a little bit after that. But yeah, it's good to see that he's on his feet again. So look, it's obviously coming to the big question of the preview that we always have. But obviously, if we need to come to you for anything League One, we know we're going to get a decent answer. So come on, what's impressed you about Lincoln over the past few games when it's come to the Skubala era, shall we say?
I think it's the same what always just impressed me about Lincoln, and I've always thought of you as a bigger version of Fleetwood in this division, because look, you're not going to have the biggest of books, you're not going to be able to attract the best players in the division, granted, but what you can offer them is a home, is a place where you can say, look, this is our home. This is how we play football, and this is the way we're going to do it. Your home fans, I think I've said many times, are the best home fans in the division. When it's behind the, when you're behind the team, which you always seem to be. Sincil Bank is rocking, and you always travel, decent as well. And it's a friendly football club to be at. So, what has impressed me on the pitch though is a great determination. And look, was it 9 games you went without a win? But you look at the back end of that. In those 9 games, I think you had Blackpool, you had Bolton, you had Derby twice, and you had Peterborough. So, I think you were away at Wickham as well. Look, there's a couple of games this season where I think you should have done a bit better. And it's been the story of Lincoln in the last 2 or 3 years. Your Exeter's away from home, I think, will be the one that screams out to you. But what has impressed me is the fight. And I think from Wickham, Derby, Peterborough, you got 3 points. I think minimum you should have got is 5. I think Wickham away, you'll take a point. Ethan Errahan, for me, I think he's one of the most underrated midfielders in this division. I think he's brilliant, getting a late goal. I think Peterborough or Derby, in the Derby game more so, I think you deserve to win. I think
there will be people that will argue both of those games we deserve to win.
Yeah, I think that if you're going to be realistic, I think 4 points minimum should have been taken from that, if not the 6. Like you said, I think in both games you were the better side, probably 55, 60, 40 type of games, but unlucky not to win. And against Burton, the way you responded, to Alex Mitchell getting 2 yellows, I think it's soft, if I'm honest with you. But the way
You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
And you can't get, you can't appeal it because it's 2 yellows. No. That's the most gutting thing. And the way you responded, and to score a goal, keep a clean sheet, and also to have a front line out injured as well. You've had Rico Hackett out for reach to the Y, out for a long period. You've obviously had other strikers out, Tyler Walker, and you've had to rely on a young kid up front with Hakeem Delican, who got shipped out straight away, and now you've got a real serious front two. And I watched Freddie Draper where he scored a brace away at Salford, and without scoring, I was like, who is he? He keeps falling over the ball, but he kept being like a real handful and a real, menace to play against. But he scored 2 goals and popped up, and and now at Lincoln, he's back in the side. So I think just your grit, your togetherness on the pitch, and whatever gets thrown at you, you seem to improve it. And Lincoln are a good football club, and I can't really say a bad word about you. And as a team, I hope you do well, but not on Saturday.
Go on then, Ben. Let's have your prediction.
I keep thinking Lincoln will win, but I keep thinking if we can just nick said this at Bristol, if we can just nick a point, 3 would be unbelievable. I think we'll be tired. I think, you know, you go Monday to Bristol, you travel back, they get back at 3 a.m. Wednesday's a write-off. Thursday, they'll train a little bit today. They'll be travelling tomorrow. I think it's going to be a very tiresome game. I think you might nick it 1-0. If not, I think we could get a point out of it. I think that, you know, maybe the squad will have to come that haven't really played many minutes. Your juniors, obviously, maybe Danny May will come back into the fold as well. So I think you'll just beat us.
Fair enough. I mean, I think we've literally just finished the main podcast with Chris, and I said to him in that, you know, on paper, you look at where the teams are at the moment, you think 3 points. Your heart always says 3 points, but it's whether your head can say 3 points. And I think, to be honest, I think my head says it's going to be 2-0. I think we're on a decent run of form at the moment. You know, the results have been fine. Obviously, you know, the two draws have been decent performances, but it is the performances that's the key thing. Yeah, 3 clean sheets, like you say, and then to get the win at Burton in the face of everything that went on, I think confidence is high in the camp at the moment. We've not got any, touch wood, we won't have any major injuries to any starters. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with 2-0. But you know, it's always a gamble when Jayden Stockley's on the pitch against Lincoln City. So yeah, but look, absolutely pleasure to have you on, mate. Floor's yours for 30 seconds if you want to give yourself a plug and let us know where we can find you.
Yeah, Codge Vlogs. I do all things Fleetwood, but more importantly, all things League One nowadays. Talk League One. Obviously, I have a familiar face in Jake with me as well. That will let you know how good Lincoln are. Will let me how good Lincoln are. Basically, I'm thinking I'm coming to like Camp Nou at the weekend, and it's going to be an absolute front three of Neymar, Messi, and co there. So no, looking forward to it. And yeah, Codge Vlogs are on YouTube, and looking forward to the game. And thank you very much for having me on as always.
No worries, mate. Cheers. And up the Imps.